Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. Investors are turning to the miners as gold, silver prices move higher. So, this is an article from Kitco talking about what's going on in the mining world of precious metal, also sharing how Mexico is the world's largest silver extractor and how this pandemic, how this virus is affecting everything, not only from prices, but from import, export, from supply and demand, from a surplus standpoint. It can be very, very important and impactful on the prices. So the links to these two articles will be in the description if you want to check them out yourselves. Before we start, make sure to smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe because I post daily videos. Go check out the video I posted earlier today. It's definitely a banger. I think you will enjoy that one as well. So interest is once again returning to the precious metals mining sector as companies focus on giving back to investors in an environment that will continue to see higher gold prices, according to the latest research from CIBC. In a report Thursday, the Canadian Bank officially raised its gold forecast, looking for prices to average the year around $1,725, up from the previous forecast of $1,600. So they are looking more bullish. The market analysts said that they see gold prices averaging around the $1,800 range in 2021, which I think the forecasts are going to be more bullish around the $2,000 range as things get more severe. We believe that gold and silver are heading higher as history seems to repeat itself with the current crisis following the 2008 playbook, as highlighted by a period of helicopter money, the analyst said. So they're referring back to the 2008 financial crisis, the credit crisis, which led to much higher prices, which eventually led to $50 silver in 2011, right? So even though the bank remains bullish on silver, it reduced this year's price forecast to an average around $18 an ounce, down from its previous estimate of $19. For 2021, the analysts see the silver prices averaging $19, unchanged from the previous forecast. The analysts added that the higher gold and silver prices are making mining companies too attractive to ignore. The comments come as the mining sector has seen capital flow back into the sector ahead of the first quarter earnings. The Van Eck Vectors Gold Miners ETF that tracks senior precious metals producers is ending the week at its highest level in 7 years. So that is up 12% on the week. CIBC warned investors that the first quarter earnings are expected to be messy as this disease around the global economy pushes things to a halt. Since mid-March, many mining companies have either had to halt production because of government orders to close non-essential businesses or reduce capacity to meet social distancing orders. So it's making things definitely harder. But the analyst said that instead of looking at the disease complications, investors should pay attention to the free cash flow numbers and the balance sheet health. We believe that investors focus on fiscal discipline and return the capital is here to stay for at least the near term, with investors keeping a close eye on the free cash flow profiles. Looking at raw commodity prices, the analysts noted that the gold is about $100 higher than the fourth quarter of 2019, which proved to be a stellar quarter for the sector. At the beginning of the pandemic, many investors were confused by the significant share price weakness in the precious metal sector, which we attribute to deleveraging shorter-term investors. The analyst said, with this flushing out the weaker positioning largely behind us, a more bullish outlook on gold and fairly robust balance sheets, the market is shifting from an aversion to operators and the 2020 virus production curtailments to seeking more leveraged exposure to the commodity via equities. The bank said that its top picks in the mining sector include Agnico Eagle, Alamos Gold, B2 Gold, Barrick Gold, Franco-Nevada, Kirkland Lake Gold, and some others. While several of these equities posted significant share price gains over the past year, we believe there is still room to move higher on the back of improving free cash flow yields, and an increasing focus on the return of capital to shareholders, improving quant scores, and company-specific catalysts. So people are definitely shifting their focus to miners, and it's becoming, like the article said, too attractive to ignore. definitely a great way to word things, and it's definitely true, right? Because this is, and just like this next article, this is where the meat and potatoes are. This is the supply and demand. If you want to talk about silver prices, this is essentially exactly where it's coming from. So the Silver Institute is a non-profit international association that solely focuses on silver. Reported that Mexico had remained the largest silver extractor in the world despite 2% drop in 2019 from the pandemic. Mexico remains at the top in silver mining, and some of the top silver producers are Mexico, Peru, Chile, Australia, China. But this disease, the pandemic, has slowed things down a lot, not only from social distancing, but a lot of places were shut down as well. So we're talking about the hundreds of millions of ounces being affected. And for the last 7 years, they've been cutting back silver production because gold is more profitable. So Mexico has remained the king of silver mining around the world. The country produced around 190 million ounces, and they are followed by Peru that produced 135 million ounces, and China with 110 million ounces, according to the sector's annual report. There was a 2% drop in the country's silver mining industry last year that somehow affected the mining companies in the country. The decrease of silver extraction, which was caused by social blockades that some companies experienced. One of the companies affected was the Fresnillo, the world's leading silver producer and Mexico's largest gold producer, where the company experienced 11% of their own silver production. This drop is the result of the company's low grades in Fresno, Saucito, and San Julian mines. Moreover, despite the drop in the company's silver production, they were able to extract and produce 51.8 million ounces of silver. Still, Fresnillo topped among mining companies that extract silver around the world. So even though there was still some drop, it still was the leader. So Polska follows Fresnillo with 45.6 million ounces, and Glencore with 32 million ounces. Additionally, recent public article reports silver mining in Mexico is expected to surge in 2020. So hopefully silver production does ramp back up, because we're talking about on a global scale, right? Silver is needed and used for so many things that it's going to be extremely important to stay up to date with it, because if we've been cutting back production for the last 7 years, a dwindling silver supply with a rising demand is going to make things very, very, very icky. It's going to be a very sticky situation. So top mining companies in Mexico, so the company's silver production has fallen to 62.3 million ounces from 69.8 million ounces last year. The drop in its production was caused by its operational challenges. However, the mining company is expected to produce 62.3 million ounces this year. So here's Newmont. Newmont's silver production in 2019 was 15.9 million ounces, which was a bit lower compared to 18.2 million ounces produced in 2018. However, the company expects that its production this year will be 30 million ounces, which are nearly double compared last year. So it looks like miners are ramping up production, which I talked about earlier this year, is going to be very, very, very essential. It's going to be very important, because if the supply cannot meet the demand, especially since silver is so widely used in things, is going to be very difficult. Because if you want the latest iPhone, the latest iPhone, you better hope that silver production stays up to date, because if not, the cost production and the production cost still has to factor in, which means that it could rise prices. And even if we talk about $50 silver, these companies, these corporations, these big businesses still have to pay these prices. So Southern Copper, an 11-year strike has finally ended in its mining site in San Martin. Because of this, the company forecast they could produce 17.2 million ounces of silver this year. The San Martin, which is full operational, is expected to contribute 2.1 million ounces of silver. In contrast, Santa Barbara, the company's other mining site, is expected to increase production by 0.3 million ounces. And then you have Pan American Silver. The Pan American Silver expects to produce its La Colorado to increase, while a production of silver production in Dolores. This means that the Pan American Silver production output is 13.3 million ounces, which is the same as last year. However, is still higher compared to its 11.7 million ounces of silver production in 2018. So it seems like things are starting to kick back up, and that's that's good news for silver. That's good news for everything, for everyone, right? Because this could be affected on a very, very, very large scale. We're not just talking about in America, we're talking about on a global scale. And since Mexico, even though it's down 2%, it still remains at the top. It's looking good, and hopefully the pandemic will blow over so they can get these numbers that they're pushing out there, that they're saying that they can reach. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. If you did enjoy these two articles, make sure to smash the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe because I post daily videos. This was Silver Slayer. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.